Minsk aircraft carrier suddenly catches fire. Thick smoke billows at the scene. A shocking collapse in a private fund. 12.5 billion yuan reduced to 85,000 yuan. CCP recruits veterans to serve again. Strategic expansion, preparing for Taiwan, or solving unemployment. Little pinks stir up trouble abroad, while elder pinks enjoy power at home. China's social security system, an open Ponzi scheme. A man from Fujian is fined for accessing foreign websites 4 years ago. Guizhou tunnel explodes. When will the human-made disasters end? On the afternoon of August 16th, around 4 p.m., the Minsk aircraft carrier docked near the Yangtze River in the Fujian Industrial Park in Nantong, Jiangsu Province, suddenly caught fire. The thick smoke billowed from the scene. According to official reports, the fire broke out during demolition and renovation work on the decommissioned carrier, with no casualties reported. The Minsk aircraft carrier originally served in the Soviet Navy before a Chinese company acquired it and transformed it into a military-themed park in Shenzhen. In January 2013, Dalian Yongjia Group purchased the Minsk aircraft carrier, and the following year, the group signed an investment agreement with Nantong's Fujian Science and Technology Park to develop a carrier-themed tourism and vacation area. In 2016, the Minsk aircraft carrier was transferred from Shenzhen to Nantong, where it remained docked on the west side of the northern wing of the Sutong Bridge for 7 years without any activity. In December 2023, a Nantong resident posted a video online showing the once mighty ocean dominator, the Minsk aircraft carrier, sitting idle near the Sutong Bridge. The video revealed that there was no ongoing construction, and the flight deck, cabins, and cockpit instruments had long rusted. Chinese media outlet Upstream News reported that the carrier's owner, Dalian Yongjia Group, the investment company behind the carrier park, had been restricted from high consumption due to its involvement in a case totaling over 1 billion yuan. At that time, Nantong's Bureau of Culture, Radio, Television, and Tourism claimed that the related project was still in progress. Once a renowned symbol of power, the Minsk aircraft carrier ultimately met a tragic fate, consumed by fire. A young mother was traveling with her child, who started crying and running into the first-class section. The flight attendants intervened, asking the mother to bring her child back to their seat. However, the mother claimed she couldn't get her child out of first class and argued, "Are there empty seats in the front? If there are, why can't we sit there?" Due to the behavior of this mother and child, the flight was delayed for an hour, which made the other passengers very angry. Many of them demanded that the woman get off the plane. Some netizens commented, saying things like, "Does the cockpit have a better view? Why not let her sit there?" Saying you should be able to sit in first class because it's empty is like saying, "Why can't you live in a luxury home because it's vacant?" Or "Why can't you use money in the bank just because it's there?" In the US, this family might have been asked to leave the plane much sooner. If she wanted to sit in first class, she should have bought a first-class ticket. China's privileged class might be influenced by parenting styles similar to this. On August 15th, China's NBD.com reported a shocking incident involving Zhejiang Youce Investment. The annual reports of 3 funds disclosed that 12.5 million yuan had been deposited in Chang'an Bank, but almost all of it was mysteriously transferred out. By July 2024, the balance in the bank account was just 86,000 yuan, and the fund manager had suspended subscription and redemption services. Strangely, the legal representative of the private fund, Youce Investment, the custodial securities firm, and the account holder all claimed they were unaware of what had happened. This incident has sent shockwaves through the financial sector in China. According to the report, Youce Investment had signed a deposit agreement contract with Chang'an Bank, placing the raised funds from the 3 products from April 2019 to May 2023 into a private fund account at Chang'an Bank's Jingling and Technology branches in Baoji City, Shanxi Province. The 2023 annual reports for these products indicated that the total amount of the bank's agreed deposits was 12.5 billion yuan. However, on July 3rd of this year, investors noticed that the account balance detail had not been published as scheduled. When they checked the account transaction records from Chang'an Bank, they found that only 86,000 yuan remained. How could such a massive sum of money disappear from a bank without anyone noticing, and with all related parties claiming ignorance? Who's responsible for this? In their investigation, reporters discovered that the loss of the 12.5 billion yuan private fund deposit was due to someone signing a supplementary agreement, which allowed online banking access to the deposit products, something that was not permitted by the original contract. Three companies then used online banking to transfer the funds out of Chang'an Bank's accounts. An insider at Industrial Securities, responsible for managing Yuan Investment's private fund products, claimed they didn't notice any irregularities. However, Yuan Investment, as the fund manager, failed to operate according to the contract by transferring the money to bank deposit accounts that were outside the control of the custodial security system. This issue has already been reported to higher regulatory authorities. A source within Chang'an Bank stated that the provided documents and transaction records did not match up, leaving them unsure whether the original information was real or fake. As for the allegations of breaching the original agreement to open online banking, the bank pointed out that Yuan Investment had requested it and signed a supplementary agreement at that time. They also emphasized that both parties reconcile their accounts monthly and have submitted relevant data to the judicial authorities. With 12.5 billion vanishing without a trace, investment banks and the bank are blaming each other. So, who is truly responsible? Where did the investors' money go? And will they ever get their investments back? Recently, financial scandals in China have been occurring almost daily, each more shocking than the last, and the authorities have been working hard to suppress the news. As of now, the detailed report by NBD has already been removed, and it is no longer accessible. The CCP has recently begun a large-scale recruitment campaign to bring veterans back to service. Some netizens have mentioned that the first wave of recruits is for those under 40, the second for those under 35, and the third for those under 26. One netizen even shared that two of their sons' comrades had already received notifications to return to service. China's recruitment drive for the second half of 2024 began on August 15th and will run until September 30th. While this recruitment primarily focuses on university students, the news of veterans being called back for a second stint has gained significant attention in both state media and social media, drawing attention domestically and internationally. Some analysts suggest that encouraging veterans to re-enlist may be part of a broader strategic expansion by the CCP. The extensive coverage in Chinese state media and social platforms lends support to this idea. Observers are debating whether this push is linked to China's military preparedness for a potential conflict over Taiwan, or whether it could also be a way to address domestic issues such as unemployment. In December 2023, an article by CNR News, a subsidiary of China's Central Radio and Television Network, emphasized the significance of the new recruitment regulations, while highlighting the experience of a veteran re-enlisting for a second term. A banner behind the soldier bore the slogan, "Respond to the call when summoned, be ready to fight, and always achieve victory." On platforms like Douyin and Bilibili, videos filmed and uploaded by veterans themselves have surfaced, showing some veterans shouting official slogans during their discharge ceremonies. From official reports in 2023 and 2024, it appears that veterans who re-enlist are mostly treated as new recruits, meaning their status and benefits are no different from those entering the military for the first time. This suggests that the CCP may be aiming to expand its foundational military base. Some analysts believe this recruitment drive is part of China's preparation for a potential conflict over Taiwan and an attempt to deter the United States. In recent years, the CCP has intensified military exercises around Taiwan. Just 3 days after Taiwan's new president, Lai Ching-te, was sworn in on May 20th, the CCP abruptly announced a blockade drill around Taiwan. Just 2 days ago, Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense reported that 22 Chinese warplanes, 9 Navy ships, and another official vessel were spotted near Taiwan. However, some believe that the CCP's actions may also be an attempt to ease domestic unemployment pressures. Meanwhile, China's Little Pinks, the nickname for ultra-nationalist youth, continue to embarrass Chinese people globally. Netizens have remarked that their actions are driving the world to boycott Chinese people. At the Evergreen Laurel Hotel in Paris, Chinese ultranationalist Little Pinks caused a stir once again after the hotel refused to display the Chinese flag. These nationalists demanded that the hotel raise the Chinese flag, but hotel management firmly declined. In a video circulating online, the hotel staff explained that they have the right to decide how to decorate the premises. As there was no Chinese flag displayed, the manager stated that it was the hotel's choice. A female manager of the hotel said, "This hotel belongs to Evergreen. The owner of the hotel can decide whether to display the flag or not." A Chinese tourist named Zhang Jiaoguan expressed dissatisfaction, noting that many Chinese people book rooms there daily, yet the Chinese flag is not displayed. In response, the hotel staff revealed that they conduct a monthly survey of guest nationalities, with Chinese guests making up about 4 to 5%. This incident exemplifies the persistence of ultra-nationalists abroad, while older generations of nationalists wield influence within China itself. The hotel manager eventually responded by stating that all national flags would be removed. However, the Little Pinks still demanded that the Chinese flag be raised before the removal. Over the following days, the incident continued to escalate within China. The Little Pinks took to Chinese social media platforms, calling for a boycott of the Evergreen Laurel Hotel and urging users to report the hotel on various booking platforms. They claimed this was in opposition to Taiwan independence and declared that they would no longer stay at any hotels under the Evergreen brand. According to multiple media reports, Chinese platforms such as Ctrip, Meituan, and Chongqing have already delisted the Evergreen Laurel Hotel from Chinese booking services. On August 15th, the Evergreen Laurel Hotel, Shanghai, issued a statement on its official website, admitting that their handling of the situation was inadequate and emphasizing that they did not wish to negatively affect cross-strait relations. Following the statement, netizens sarcastically commented, "Did the Little Pinks win again?" That same day, Evergreen's response became the #2 trending topic, garnering almost 27 million views and over 3,000 comments. Evergreen Laurel Hotel was founded in 1993 as Taiwan's first original world-class hotel brand, with locations in several Taiwanese cities, Bangkok, Shanghai, Penang, and Paris, among others. In addition to its hotel business, Evergreen also operates in the aviation and maritime industries. Evergreen Marine is currently Taiwan's only shipping company that conducts business in mainland China, employing a large number of Chinese seafarers. Following the flag incident, some Little Pinks took to the internet to spread calls for action against Evergreen. On the X platform, it was reported that some nationalist users posted messages accusing Evergreen Group of refusing to display the Chinese flag, labeling the company as supporters of Taiwanese independence. These posts urged Chinese crew members working on Evergreen ships to take action against the company. Screenshots circulating online show a notice stating that Evergreen Group owns ships, and it calls on all Chinese crew members working for Evergreen to recognize their nationality and mission. The notice claims that since Evergreen no longer sees itself as Chinese, all Chinese people have the right and responsibility to engage in unlimited retaliation against the company. The notice urged Chinese crew members on Evergreen ships to sabotage the main engine by mixing sand into the lubricating oil, cover large electric motors and generators with plastic over the air intake, claiming this would burn out the motors in about 10 minutes. Afterward, the plastic could be removed, making the damage appear as normal wear and tear. The notice also suggests using high-voltage devices to damage precision instruments, electronic systems, and navigation equipment in ways that would be nearly indistinguishable from regular malfunctions. This level of fanaticism from the Little Pinks left netizens stunned. Many expressed fear, remarking, "It's terrifying to see people willing to sabotage others in the workplace in the name of patriotism. These so-called patriots are truly frightening." Others commented on the embarrassment they felt as Chinese citizens, with some saying, "It's no wonder they refuse to display the Chinese flag. This kind of behavior is no different from when a boss dislikes a subordinate and uses their power to sabotage them in subtle ways." Some even advised all foreign companies to take note of this post, warning that any Chinese employees could potentially become a ticking time bomb due to such extreme nationalism. A netizen commented, "My Taiwanese ship owner, who had over 100 ships, withdrew his crew assignments from mainland China and handed them over to India for management. More than 2,000 jobs are gone. Evergreen would be wise to withdraw. Even though these bad apples are just fantasizing, it reveals the low professional ethics and standards of young mainland seafarers. The idea of sabotaging an employer is unthinkable. Just imagining it is a crime. In reality, all ships are insured. Any losses caused by seafarers would be fully covered by the Protection and Indemnity Club. These malicious schemes won't harm Evergreen in any way. Another netizen remarked sarcastically, "Do the little pinks really think that the Chinese flag is welcomed around the world? Don't they know that in the past 20 years, Chinese officials have consistently ranked 178th globally in corruption perception? Public healthcare fairness ranks 4th from the bottom worldwide. University tuition fees in China are more than 3 times the global average. The urban-rural income gap is the largest in the world. Tax burdens rank 2nd globally. Mining accident deaths account for 80% of the global total. China's government administrative costs are the highest in the world, equivalent to the combined costs of the next 9 highest-ranked countries. Of the world's 140,000 kilometers of toll roads, 100,000 are in China, making up 70%. Over 90% of the world's shoddy projects are produced in China, and 80 million people are excluded from Social Security. The annual spending on official luxuries in China amounts to trillions, surpassing the combined totals of all countries. Don't these facts awaken the Chinese people? Netizens have also remarked that foreign businesses in China will likely face similar challenges, with influencers using CCP patriotism as a guise to smear foreign companies for personal gain. Some urged foreign companies to quickly flee China. While little pinks stir up trouble abroad, old pinks exert their power back home. On August 14th in Qingdao, Shandong, a university student was selling small toys on the street when an elderly man in a white shirt with a red armband told him to stop. The student refused, likely asking why he couldn't sell there. The elderly man then angrily exclaimed, "Do I need to explain to you? Who do you think you are?" The elderly man then began shoving the student. Bystanders tried to calm the situation, urging the man to let it go and allow the student to leave. As the student walked away, the elderly man triumphantly declared, "He can't sell, he can't sell." Netizens have remarked that the old man's dismissive question, "Who do you think you are?" not only insulted the university student, but also highlighted the harsh realities of society. Back in the day, such overbearing nationalists waved red flags, sweeping away all enemies. Today, they wear red armbands, continuing to treat the younger generation with the same brutality and arrogance. They don't feel the need to explain themselves, they just steamroll anyone who disagrees with them. These former Red Guards, now Old Pinks, make up the unshakable foundation of the CCP's stability maintenance apparatus. According to the video's uploader, people have already asked him to delete the video for fear of damaging the city's reputation. It seems that while the CCP may engage in some questionable actions, it still cares about saving face. China's social security system, an open Ponzi scheme. A netizen recently visited a community hospital to get a bottle of folic acid tablets, which were priced at 62 yuan. After using medical insurance to cover 90% of the cost, the individual ended up paying 6 yuan and 20 cents out of pocket. Grateful for having medical insurance, they thought they had saved a lot of money. Out of curiosity, they checked the price online through JD.com, only to discover that the same folic acid tablets were being sold for just 4 yuan. The netizen was left speechless and furious, asking how the National Health Insurance Bureau sets prices and handles procurement during bidding. A commenter with 5 years of experience in retail pharmaceuticals explained that this was all part of a scheme. The inflated reimbursement amounts are just a way to siphon money from the medical insurance system. The story highlights growing frustration among Chinese citizens with the healthcare system, where Social Security and medical insurance often seem to benefit the system itself rather than the individual, leading many to question the fairness and transparency of the process. A netizen commented that China's medical insurance system is truly an anomaly. According to official explanations, the financial burden on the state is enormous for each person insured. For every individual who participates in the system, the state has to pay an additional 800 to 900 yuan in subsidies. So, logically, if someone chooses to opt out of medical insurance, the government would save close to 1,000 yuan in expenses per person. Following this reasoning, in terms of economic downturn and significant reductions in government revenue, if citizens voluntarily chose to forgo their insurance, they would essentially be relieving the state of a financial burden. However, curiously, Authorities seem quite reluctant to let people drop out. Instead, they repeatedly urge people to join or stay. When people drop out, officials scramble to find new ways to bring them back into the fold. Why would the state deliberately increase its own expenses? On the surface, this seems illogical, but it makes sense if you consider the fact that the system is designed in a way that keeps people participating, likely because it ultimately generates income for those involved. A man from Fujian is fined for accessing foreign websites 4 years ago. According to a report from NetEase News, on August 15th, a man from Ningde City, Fujian Province, was fined by the government for using a VPN to access foreign websites. The news was initially reported by Hubei Broadcasting Television. Screenshots circulating online show that the Cybersecurity and National Security Divisions of the Chongqing County Public Security Bureau investigated a case of using illegal channels to access the international internet. Police discovered that the man, identified as Gong, had accessed foreign information deemed harmful to national security. The report also stated that any form of VPN use to bypass the firewall is illegal. What's noteworthy is that Gong's violation, which occurred in 2020, was not discovered until July of this year, when the authorities finally took action. The NetEase News report emphasized that Gong had used VPN software to browse foreign websites, but there was no mention of him spreading or sharing any foreign content. This case has sparked renewed debate on the use of VPNs in China and the delayed enforcement of laws that govern online activity. In other words, Gong's VPN use happened 4 years ago, and it was purely browsing. Now, 4 years later, he has been investigated and punished. This incident has sparked controversy on Chinese social media. Even according to Chinese law, his online activities 4 years ago should have exceeded the statute of limitations. The Public Security Administration Punishment Law of the People's Republic of China, Article 22, clearly states, if a violation of public security management is not discovered by public security organs within 6 months, it shall no longer be punished. Additionally, the Administrative Punishment Law of the People's Republic of China, Article 36, stipulates, if an illegal act is not discovered within 2 years, no administrative punishment shall be imposed. The statute of limitations can be extended to 5 years if it involves issues related to citizens' health and life, financial security, or if it has harmful consequences. Exceptions apply where the law states otherwise. Since Gong's VPN browsing occurred in 2020, and there was no mention that the behavior continued over time, the statute of limitations should be 2 years at most. So why was he administratively punished 4 years later? The Shoning County Law Enforcement Department based its penalty on Article 14 and Article 6 of the Provisional Regulations of the People's Republic of China on the administration of computer information networks connected to international networks. Article 6 states that computer information networks directly connected to international networks must use international gateway channels provided by the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications National Public Telecommunication Network. No unit or individual is allowed to establish or use other channels to connect international networks. Article 14 states that violations of Articles 6, 8, and 10 will result in the public security authorities ordering the cessation of network connection, issuing warnings, and possibly imposing fines of up to 15,000 yuan. Any illegal gains shall be confiscated. This news sparked widespread discussion online. Over 30,000 people participated in the discussion under the NetEase article, with most netizens mocking the Chinese government for its absurd behavior in using the firewall to restrict the public's access to the outside world. Many see it as a foolish act of repression. Comments included, "You're constantly citing foreign media and even using foreign social media platforms. Isn't that illegal? I read a Russian media report reprinted by People's Daily. Does that mean I'm breaking the law?" Report Global Times' Hu Xijin and Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hua Chunying for illegally using VPNs. I just came back from abroad. Should I be arrested? I just want to ask, how can we legally access foreign websites? Netizens on X are mocking. Then the millions of trolls and little pinks on foreign social media must all be breaking the law too. In the 50s and 60s, they cracked down on radio use, and now it's the internet, truly keeping up with the times. One netizen's comment brings up an interesting point. The term illegal channels is typically understood to mean bypassing the firewall using physical equipment. Since no Chinese citizens are physically laying down their own submarine cables to access the internet, it suggests that the authorities are misinterpreting the concept of illegal channels. Furthermore, there are laws stating that any actions disrupting the internet are illegal, leading some to argue that the CCP itself is violating these laws by building the Great Firewall in the first place. Following the online reaction to this news, the article seems to have been removed from the Jingshi Live public account homepage, possibly to quell further discussion. Interestingly, the CCP government officially denies the existence of the Great Firewall, making this situation a sort of self-contradiction. Essentially, as some netizens have put it, it's a case of the kettle calling the pot black. This kind of government doublethink, where actions contradict public denials, certainly raises eyebrows. Guizhou tunnel explodes. When will the human-made disasters end? On August 14th, this channel was among the first to report on a vehicle explosion inside a tunnel in Guizhou, China. Now, more detailed information has emerged. Local netizens visited the site after the explosion and described the scene as horrifying, comparing it to the aftermath of a war. Videos from the site show the tunnel completely devastated by the blast. Several large trucks were reduced to mere frames, with piles of ash on both sides of the tunnel. The images are deeply shocking. On August 15th, the Highway Traffic Police Division of the Qianxinan Prefecture Public Security Bureau released a statement reporting that the explosion was caused by a traffic accident involving a truck. The severe collision led to the vehicle's explosion. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the frequency of man-made disasters in China, raising questions about when such tragedies will finally be addressed. According to Chinese media reports, at the time of the accident, several vehicles were passing through the tunnel, which became engulfed in thick smoke, completely covering the tunnel from the outside. Dashcam footage from one of the cars inside the tunnel shows a vehicle suddenly exploding for unknown reasons. After the explosion, the vehicle continued to roll forward for a considerable distance. Reports also indicate that after the accident, rescuers and investigators rushed to the scene. In response to the incident, some netizens have pointed out existing problems with the tunnels in Guizhou. One netizen revealed that Guizhou's tunnels are particularly dark, causing even locals to feel anxious when driving through them. The lighting inside the tunnels is very dim, and some tunnels even lack light altogether. When entering these tunnels, drivers often find themselves plunged into darkness, unable to see anything. If an oncoming vehicle has its high beams on, it can completely blind drivers, making it extremely easy for accidents to occur. In addition to the poor lighting inside the tunnels, many netizens have pointed out that Guizhou's speed limits are erratic and confusing. The limits frequently change between 80, 100, 110, and 120 kilometers per hour, and in some areas it even drops to 40. This constant shifting of speed limits can overwhelm even experienced drivers. For those unfamiliar with the area or for novice drivers, this can easily lead to accidents. Netizens have speculated that while the exact cause of this explosion is still under investigation, the road conditions in the area likely played a significant role. These issues have existed for a long time, but they typically receive little attention or improvement until a tragic accident occurs. Unfortunately, when such accidents happen, the cost is often paid in lives and severe consequences.